horse drifted alarmingly in the betting was, Felsted in the morning continued to drift. It was late on the exchanges to lose. It was something you'd see in a Dick Francis novel, Charles Buttons.
The ground is soft. It's
heavy.
It's soft on times.
It's heavy.
Okay.
Hello, welcome. Yes, it's that time of the week again where you get to listen to a load of rabble of us talking absolute rubbish. And we're back to the original three roadies here, or homeboys, whatever you want to call us, whatever insults you've got. Like
shot callers, big ballers, that's us, isn't it?
Absolutely. Myself, Lee Keys, John Lang, and Chris Lone Malvo from the old X-platform Twitter, who likes to do his Twitter terrorism like we all do from time to time on there. Good afternoon, gentlemen. We've recorded slightly early, just after the Prix Diane, or Steak Diane, if you like,
yes.
or Miss Diane. All the old platitudes of Dianes through history.
Yes.
Down the tunnel, Diane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other famous Dianes? Do you remember Diane out of V? That space.
The
lizard woman. She was
the lizard
hot.
with all fuck. Yeah.
Oh, gold.
We've set the tone. So, of course, this week, racing wasn't that hot because, of course, the French Oaks, which we'll come on to shortly. The weekend itself really didn't offer much in terms of future prospects, etc., at group level. So we'll keep the racing review nice and trim so we can get to more important topics like Hong Kong Phooey's sidekicks and things like that, which you all seem very interested in for some reason on John's questions. Review, John. Before we come to the Prix Diane, there's a couple of things I want to run past you for this weekend. Let's see if you've noticed. We had a question today regarding a horse that ran, I believe, at Leopardstown on Thursday. I didn't notice because I wasn't playing at the Irish track that evening.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Lynch that's come on, and he says, Thursday night, 7:20 at Leopardstown. A horse won at 7-1 in front of its owners who flew in specially from America. Is this a new breed of horse? Wins on request. It was very well bet. It was a horse called Shoalar that ran in this race, trained by the man you love, John.
Well, it is.
JP.
Oh, he loves this game.
Yeah, he did after that. It was back from 12s into 6s. So he was loving this game after that race, and it won by 4.5 lengths. The lad in the saddle couldn't pull it up.
He must have told them to get their asses over because it was going to win, and they'd love this game as much as he loves this game.
Yeah, the only thing I can account to improved performance, you could set cheap pieces. They love that one, though, don't they?
Yeah.
It's improved 4 ton for a set of sheepskins.
The headgear that does absolute fucking zero. Yeah.
It just creates more wind resistance.
Yeah.
You don't see Mo Farah, did you? When he won Olympics in 2012, you didn't see him running around London Stadium with a pair of cheap pieces.
The only thing them cheap pieces would be any good for it'd be if you're going down on a lass and it stuck your chafing her inner thighs.
Well, that's quite helpful, isn't it? Yeah.
Kind of like that. I went through its form. So thank you, Jeff Lynch, for his question, because I didn't notice this because I didn't play. After watching it and reviewing it and looking back at its form, I don't know how that has just suddenly done that from what it's been doing.
Murta suddenly hits form, man. I mean, he was a bit in and out in the spring, you know, and I think his yard's just peaking right for Ascot, though.
Well, yeah, interesting take, John. It's one of them. I know how yards work. It's not all about here and now and then. A lot of Irish trainers will have targets for Galway. They'll have targets for later in the season, certain meetings that they like to.
You seen the name of the jockey on that thing as well?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Is he Indian?
Yudish Girdari.
He's only 4%. Another thing, right, with this always in the planning, because the American owners have come over, they've booked a 4% jock. If they book like a major jock, it's like, you ain't getting 12s, are you?
Yeah.
Probably half them odds or whatever, because it's like, I love this game's horse, and he's booked somebody good. Obviously, not many people, even though he's been doing the rounds a bit, the lad's still only 4%. So that's not going to certainly alert anyone.
Well, if Man Jones hadn't stuck him up, they were stuck with Ben Cohen, weren't they? So.
Well, yeah. Oh, there's that. Poor Ben. That's a great question, Jeff Lynch, because I never noticed it. Just like one that passes you by. They've had it right off. Carrots, maybe? Don't know. But that horse in final furlong.
Cheap pieces.
Cheap pieces, says John, the miracle improver. Not a smokescreen for the horse racing authorities to why horses just suddenly improved. On to other things that happened this weekend. This is what I was going to ask you. Because the racing weren't like mega, were it Saturday? It weren't like a super Saturday or anything.
Shit.
Yeah, you got Chester, Sandown, York, and don't get me wrong, it was nice enough racing, but the one thing that I'm going to criticise here, and it comes back to the old watering scenario that we've touched on for years and I got so bored of talking about it, we rarely talk about it anymore. But Sandown again proves that whatever they're doing, it's producing kips. Every single race at Sandown that was run on Saturday, I'm not on about the sprint course, I'm on about the round course. Nothing won on the inside. The closest to do it on the inside or to nearly win was Star of Dubai up the rail where it nearly beat Take a Breath, but then faded late.
I think it's a big thing that whenever he goes that bit over the top with the watering, the inside always cops it.
It's dead, isn't it? You said it before, John. When it's genuinely fast ground, and he tends to be quite generous with Eclipse having racing on fast ground. I don't know why, but that he seems to be more generous that meeting.
Well, he does as long as he gets fast ground horses and talked up without race. If we get an Eclipse where Gosden and O'Brien start talking about the ground being safe, I think you'll see him revert to type.
I'm a bit concerned a lot of the time with these stick readings as well, because we've talked about the stick and obviously James Sanderson furore that we caused.
Basically, Lee, they've recalibrated the stick themselves, haven't they? That's what they've done. They've done it to hoodwink the trainers. As a result, it's hoodwinked the farm boat completely and made every stick rating in the last couple of years utterly fucking useless. And we know when they're useless from because it's when they're suddenly dropped. You know, we were no longer racing on 11 at Ascot. Yeah. That's when we know they've started messing about and got their heads together. I mean, they're all on the phone to each other, these fuckers, aren't they? They're not daft. You know, not one of them's going to go solo on this. You know, once you get a sneaky little clique talking about it all, somebody's bound to come up with a bright idea recalibrating the stick and not telling any bugger else, aren't they?
We still don't know the severity of this about other clerks, sort of like...
And we never will, because there's no will from the VHA to find out about this because of gross profits tax. Because all that would do is help the punter. The current state of affairs, where nobody, unless you're spending 24/7 on the game, like some of us, you haven't got a blind clue what the ground's going to be like, and that's how they want it.
Sandown Saturday, just to recap, anyone that looks back at the form, just disregard anything that stayed on rail. Road to Wembley late on in the day under Ryan Moore. Where did that finish? Everything came down the middle. Youthful King came down the middle. One of Roger Charlton's Wave Rider came down the middle.
That must have been Ryan's first ride, wasn't it? Otherwise you'd have said, what's he doing going up the rail after that stage of the afternoon?
Despite as good as they all are, they're human beings at the end of the day, and it's one of them. If he's turned up to track a bit late, has got changed into his gear, weighed out.
Once had a couple of rides, though, you'd think they'd cotton on, wouldn't you?
Well, you would, but he doesn't speak to anyone, does he?
Well, you should watch his race on telly afterwards.
That's it. I don't think there's any excuse. I think if I were a jockey, nothing to stop you watching replays on your phone.
You'll be too busy stopping every fucking favourite you rode and taking it out at place markings on Betfair.
Yeah, Chris, in my tech time, if I were
you'll give a fuck what the ground was.
What are you doing with this here? What are you doing?
I'd wonder why you're putting up 18 stone overweight again. You know, that's the thing. That would be my major concern. I don't think we need any help pink button wise, would we? Really, you know.
No. Even in my younger days, I like 14 stone at school.
Well, there you go. You see,
I weren't like massively fat. The unit.
He's big boned, is our Lee. That's what I say. He's big boned. Yeah.
What they say in it, big boned.
Comes over a lot of ground.
Except in area you need to be. Anyway. Producers.
It's what they say in racing parlance, isn't it? Stands over a lot of ground.
Yes, quite, yes. Fills the eye.
Yeah. So that was my point, John, about Sandown again, where the places that you don't like to bet are getting more and more now. And Sandown there was very unadvantageous for the rail on Saturday and for punters that are putting the bets on in the morning with a lucky 15s.
Our list of go courses now is getting that bad, I'm going to have to start betting on dogs, I think.
We'll mention the Greyhound Derby that took place last night. I've got some real positive stuff to say about it.
Oh, good.
I'll explain later.
Given our political stance, that'll rock a few boats.
It's not easy. I'll come to this later,
Yeah.
but I was brought into the game in dog racing. So to me, and I can work with anyone if we all align on a certain project. It just on certain views. That's it. It's like me and you, in it, politics wise. I'm not anything politics. I'm anti-globalist. You're socialist side. Our views are difficult to align because I've got no view anyway on who's on the right side of things because I all think they're all bent, and that's that.
Well, I've got nobody to vote for.
I know, exactly, especially at last election. So would I not work with you that we disagree on certain things, but then align on something that we're both passionate about?
Well, if you only work with people you agree 100% on everything, you'd only work on your fucking Todd, wouldn't you?
Exactly that.
Let's be fair.
I never got the flack, to be honest.
You're never ever going to find agreements on every subject with everyone.
Absolutely.
It's bollocks.
Yeah. We'll come on to that positivity regarding what has been a flagging sport for a long time now, and we can certainly see racing going down that direction if things don't change. On to the today's race, John. The Diane.
Yeah.
The Diane French Oaks run at Sean T. Nice crowd there today. Lots of funfair there, and it's quite a nice sight in terms of ladies in sort of ascot style dresses. It's a good affair there today. But on to the result and disappointment for the £2.5 million, I believe. I don't know if it was pounds, dollars, yen, lira. No idea, but
Zimbabwean pounds, I think.
Yeah, rejection for She's Perfect this week. How sick are was it 37 out of the 38 shareholders not accepting that?
Well,
yeah,
I don't know how they got such a massive consensus across the board like that.
No.
I would have thought there'd have been 5 or 6 breaking ranks at least and saying,
Yeah.
I want to get out of this.
They must be all incredibly wealthy then. That's the only thing I can think.
I'll tell you what I would have done, because I would have been a pretty bent syndicate manager, to be honest, right? And after that tragedy of getting chucked out in the French game, and I got my syndicate together and said, look, I tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to bump the value up a bit, and I'm going to go to the press and say we've had an offer at 2.5. But we've all turned it because we know she's worth a lot more.
Yeah.
And they'd all say, yeah, let's do that.
It's scarcely conceivable that all those people virtually unanimously turned. I mean, what would it have been in your hand? What's 2.5 divided by 37? I haven't got a calculator, but I mean, how much would that be in real money?
Some of them have got 1%. Some have got varying different shares.
Of course, yeah.
But let's say you've got a 1% leg in it, yeah?
Yeah.
That would mean essentially before fees and expenses.
Yeah.
50 grand.
Come on. Who these days? I mean, listen, if you've got dough, right, let's say you are stratospherically wealthy such that 50 grand is of no consequence to you, what the fuck are you doing as part of a huge syndicate? You're just going to get your own horse, wouldn't you?
Well, that's the other thing. You go to somewhere like Highclere, you can earn to 25% of one that's, they've paid 300,000 for. You've had to pay 75 plus Eckies.
The whole thing's marketed, though, it seems to me, towards people, an affordable entree into racehorse ownership. So it would seem that the customer base is not going to be stratospherically wealthy, but people just who've got a few quid to spend, and want some fun and entertainment. And I just don't get how those are the sort of individuals that say, you know what, don't want 50 grand. Let's run another race.
Not when you consider believing brilliant mayor of George Bowie's.
Yeah.
Coolmore in January paid 3 million guineas for her. Coolmore also knew what they were going to do with her. They'd probably get a free nomination to Frankel and send believing to Frankel. Away you go. So she's in foal. She runs at Ascot next week in foal in the King Charles Stakes. Why would you think that She's Perfect, that has been touched off in the end, obviously some say cruel result, some say right result. I'm not going to get into that debate, but what I'm going to say is it's the weakest of the 3 guineas.
Yeah.
So why is she worth 2.5 million? And a proven Group 1 performer such as Believing is worth only 500k more. I'm crap at valuing at top end because it's what someone's willing to pay.
Yeah.
And if someone was willing to pay 2.5, then that's fair play. But if I was advising that syndicate, honestly, I would say, Jesus Christ.
Take the money, yeah.
I would put her value for the Prix Diane. I would have put her value, it's in my weak expertise at top end horses, somewhere between 1.2 to 1.4 million.
Yeah.
Generous.
And that might be on the generous side. You've won a Haydock Novice. You've won was it a listed race or something in France or something like that? Then you've won a French Guineas and got DQ'd.
800 to a million for me.
The thing is, John, why I back you up on that is because the pedigree ain't all that, if you know what I mean. It's not one of these pedigrees that goes, oh.
It was all that. They've been out of their price range.
Well, yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be picking it up for 50k. If it were littered with Group 1 performers or group horses as well as siblings, then you wouldn't be getting a 50 grand. Earmarks the spot. That was that bid false? Was it true? We don't know. And we can't comment. We have no idea.
No.
But you can all make your own minds up from the cases, what we've just made in terms of validity of it. It's an hard one. It's one of them that you can have your opinions, and that's what we've just done. That was the Prix Diane. What about the winner? Oh, fuck the winner. It was Gizora. Stall 1, perfectly birthed. Yet again, the Chauncey draw played a big hand in the finish. After watching it, John, I did feel Bedtime Story was most unlucky.
Yes.
Obviously had to be dropped in.
Apologies to Dave Collins' missus who asked me for a tip this morning.
Is that what you tipped?
Yeah.
Obviously a terrible draw for Chauncey, as we know.
She will no longer think I'm the best bar steward.
I disagree, because how the game goes is, for me, if you tip the best horse in the race and it doesn't win, it doesn't matter. I know normies might not see it like that, but you're on the right side of history. You've tipped the best horse in the
moral winner.
Yes.
We make a lot of moral winners, us.
Yeah, we do. We had one on Early Bird today, didn't we? 11-1 into 7-2, missed break 3.
We're incredibly moral.
But that's all you can do, isn't it? Beat the price. And if you're beating the price, you're going to be all right.
You're also dead in the long run, so not sure what to make of that.
Yeah, let's talk a bit more racing just before we move on to other topic. We've got a young lad coming on the show in a little while to talk about his journey into Newmarket and a racing career. And we want to encourage more young folk out there. So Lewis has been on. He says, can anyone explain why Kiss Cody has been given that result at Leicester on Saturday evening? I think stewards have panicked a bit, because what's happened is Jim's like snatched up, because Jim's getting on a bit now and he'll make a meal or anything, and probably weren't a gap for him to go through, but he got snatched up, it's got beaten neck, it's run on late, but after the line it's not going back up. There was no evidence to say that this was going to sail past the winner in another 25, 30 yards. I thought it was a harsh decision. I can see why they've done it in a bit, but like the connections have appealed on the second, but I agree. You don't see many horses get chucked out that win a neck, John, do you?
No.
Not these days.
It tends to be those that have suffered major interference and have got beat the equivalent of a midge's dick.
Yeah. Well, I said...
You could put that in the rule book, couldn't there, really? And then everybody would know how to stand. You must have suffered major interference and have been beaten no further than a midge's dick. And then everybody would know.
It's like the court of law thing. You have to be certain beyond all reasonable doubt. And I think that's the best way of stewarding, to be honest.
Otherwise, it's DNA tests, isn't it?
Yeah. More racing stuff. Tony Earnshaw's been on, and obviously he's not sure about the Japanese offer regarding Basher's horse. And he said, should Zippy replace Chris on the show?
Yes. Emphatically, yes. Yes, and yes. No doubt.
You've had enough of this show now. You've had enough. It's going from not totally shit to shit.
No, I think Zippy would do a much, much better job. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Yeah.
Chris was talking to his agent this week about getting his own show. So
Tony, he's going to try and start billing us for his impression.
Fucking right, I am. Yeah.
Per impression.
Mike Yarwood.
If it's an Irish one, it's 40 quid.
Yeah,
Zippy or Pony.
Yeah, Pony for Zippy, yeah. That's the only two I do. That's it. No others. That's the end of it, yeah.
Yeah, he's an absolute mercenary too.
Oh, yeah, ruthless. Yeah,
He'd take us all out in an instant. A lot of us. Like a bowling ball and 10 pins.
Yeah, strike, kingpin, yeah. Bill Murray, that's me, yeah.
There you go. Grumpy Punter's been on, and he says, how shit is the Racing Post website?
He's never really happy, is he?
He's right, though, he's right.
to be fair, in his description of his persona, we like Grumpy. We do Grumpy, don't we? How shit is the Racing Post website? Half a bag a year for an unstable, non-functioning tab website and just apologetic nonsense when you complain.
Let's be fair, he's not wrong, is he? Jesus Christ.
This is the worst product that if we're full-time bettors, you have to pay for. It's the worst product on offer.
It is, yeah. There's nothing as bad.
It's forever breaking down. It's forever, this video won't play.
Malfunctioning.
It's garbage. Pretty much same as the staff that work there.
And the content, fucking rubbish.
Dreadful content, dreadful journalists. They're lucky to even exist, to be honest.
Yeah, they wouldn't get a job on a local fucking paper, would they? Was it not for racing?
That's the interesting thing. So, like, say racing person cease to function next week. How many of that lot start getting employed by anyone?
Well, they wouldn't. Well, some local journalists they'll be covering fucking cat stuck up tree. You know, that'll be the extent of their fucking journalistic career. Because they're not journalists, are they? They're bloggers, aren't they? You know,
Paul Smith that does the spotlights. He's walking into a job anywhere. Paul, he puts the yards in.
I found a worm in my burger at McDonald's.
Yeah, fuck me.
That kind of thing.
Compo face pictures a lot, you know. Went on holiday to Spain and didn't have any English food, that sort of stuff. You know, local couple complain. That's it. They want to fucking thank their lucky stars that some of that mob have been there so long. Who else would employ them? What meagerly talented individuals have managed to carry on and forge careers for themselves. They should thank God that the Racing Post existed, because you wouldn't employ them to do anything, would you?
So, coming on to this week, of course, we have got Royal Ascot. It's quite underwhelming again from the racing media. They don't flog it like Cheltenham, do they? None of them seem to. Even Royal Ascot, it gets a little push, but it don't get much. It's not like the Cheltenham vibe that everyone has for 6 months in advance. The old Ascot Roadshow gets underway this week. Chariot form at Ascot. Watch where the chariots go before the first, when he stuck loads of water on for the first day, and then watch the tractor marks as they've gone down, and then that's the draw for day one. That's where you want to be, on that quashed down watered ground. Chariot form always works with heavy watering.
Bet heavily on black for the King's hat on the first day.
Yeah. Black of that.
Yeah, top hat. Yeah.
Fucking hell! I'm just because I'm used to Queen and an address. I've been used to that for absolutely years.
Yeah, well, you say there's a thing here, because Tuesday and Wednesday he will wear a black hat. On Thursday, he'll be in light grey.
Is that a thing?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, because he's very traditionalist, his old sausage fingers, and it's the grey morning suit for Ladies' Day.
Never knew that.
Fuck me, we've learned something there, Lee.
Every day's a school day, boys.
I've got a treat for us as well. Before I give you the
drugs.
Yeah, drugs, hookers.
3 for 100.
Well, 3 for 100 pure power. Get at me, yeah. Hit me up. No. Quick drops all over. Yeah, okay, sorry.
And I'm going to give it to sermon listeners. And our paid community is going to go berserk at me for this, but we need more money. Send more money.
Fucking right,
Send money. You need to join Patreon this week because we've got 3 shows, right? We've got the Monday night show, Wednesday night show for Thursday.
That's the one with the celebrity guests and the dancing, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
You should be joining Patreon. It's like £9 a month. What are you doing, man? It's like, it's nothing. And the content you get, it's awesome. You can join our tipping stuff, which the early bird service just destroying bookmakers and has been for a long time. So again, it's all worth it. It's all good content. You get to interact with us and stuff like that. So you get all that and more, really. And you need it for this week because we've got some strong opinions. So to reward you people that say we're giving nothing out on free shows, I'm giving you a 33-1 shot that should be about 8s. A drum roll here. Friday, Albany Stakes, 2:30. It's currently 33s all over. It's none of this like we were on firm. Oh, you're advertising 33s. It really do on firm when I looked. Fuck off. Right, no, it's 33s. And it's a horse called Tahalel, trained by the Yogurt Cannon. This was all the rage on debut to beat a horse called Fitzeller of Carlton Palmer's at Haydock, who in the end was very impressive. Obviously, through greenness and missing the kick when Fitzeller her own way on the front end, she just had too much experience and too wherewithal for Tahalel. Tahalel was extremely well touted that day. Fitness-wise, it would come on. It was a little bit tubby. Sean Levy has been booked for this already, so you know it's the pick of the Yogurt Cannons, what the entries are. How on earth is Fitzeller 6-1 and this 33s when Tahalel was 6-5 and Fitzeller 5-4 at Haydock. You're either saying that, well, Fitzeller's just a much better filly, or you're saying that Tahalel was a bit green, wasn't knocked about in the closing stages, and would come on an absolute ton for that debut. 33-1 is ginormous. This should be in the single figures for me. Honestly, the way they touted this and the words I was getting for this, they said this was a proper filly. So if that's the case, what am I missing here? There's no to miss, is there? You've got Carlton Palmer's with Oisin Murphy at 6s. You've this at 33s. It's not rocket science. They should be a lot closer together in the betting. Hell of a lot. So either Fitzeller's too short, which I don't think so, or Tahalel is too big. One or the other.
Yeah, I've taken the 33s now. It's now 8. Yeah. It's all gone, all blue.
Telegram, send money.
10 more fucking money. Yeah. It's got a good thing. 33 to fucking 1. Yeah, you're a man.
He must say it's Telegram because you don't get an Irish impression off him anymore.
No. Actually, that's €40 there. €40.
€40 for that.
Yeah, 10 money you could. Yeah. Anyway,
right. Three you there this week to Royal Ascot before we do the daily tipping shows. Like I say, get 3 this week, 3 in 1 week. The Thursday one doesn't go free to air. The other 2 do the morning after. So if you still don't want to pay, we still look after you in a way. On to the next topic, which, of course, is the Greyhound Derby, where it's not our forte really to talk about different sports very often. But personally, chaps, I watch a lot of the coverage on YouTube. I'm so impressed by what they put on, what they've done, the show they put on. The coverage was HD quality, Sky Sports standard in terms of commentators, presenters. The crowd was huge. The atmosphere sounded tremendous. A fav at the front. It was like the old days, the big roars of back in the day. And I just think that's what racing does miss from time to time. A good old bit of nostalgia, which sort of, I think, ground racing transferred it back then to the glory days for the first time in a while. So well done to all concerned. And I know Ben Keith doesn't particularly like us, but well done, Ben Keith,
definitely,
for sponsoring an event for a long time and doing what you've done along with Mark Davies, who's heading the sport in the right direction. And this is what concerns me. Greyhound Racing are interested in the UNESCO heritage protected status, which we want for racing. I've asked the BHA this week and I've received a reply saying they're a little too busy for that as they're working on the taxation and affordability check side of things.
Jesus.
I know it's disappointing. There's not a lot I can do in terms of...
Too busy.
I know this is not a difficult thing to implement. Don't even have to go to the government. Only one MP has to propose it.
Can I ask a question about this?
Sure.
If UNESCO protected status was awarded, say, for argument's sake, next Friday, does that mean then that you can't mess about with the structure of racing from next Friday?
It just means you can't abolish it.
Right. So a change in the funding method would still be allowed.
Yes.
Right.
It won't be possible for it to be abolished.
In that case, why are the BHA not acting on this when it's something the office Jody can do?
I know, but as we know with the BHA and ourselves, it's not been that cordial over time. Probably some of it our overzealous comments, but at the same time,
zealous, not overzealous.
Yeah,
I think this indicates why we're zealous with our comments. Like, in all honesty,
they're
not understaffed over there. So something like this that could protect the sport.
Yeah, what it stops is activists.
Yeah.
If you're wondering why we're so pro UNESCO, is that it stops activists actively seeking to ban the sport for starters, right? Because you can't ban it. You're wasting your time. You can fund it to your eyes' content.
Yeah.
As long as you've got UNESCO heritage status. And that don't mean to say that you're going to be cruel. And it just means that, look, turn your activism somewhere else. Yeah. This is not a subject you can win. That's a simple win for racing without doing anything political in terms of affecting taxation or affordability checks.
They seem incapable of operating or undertaking tasks concurrently. It's almost everything they do is consecutive. We can't do that today or this month or this quarter because we're working on this.
Yeah, everybody's working on the tax.
Literally, they're not, right? So what that speaks to is, oh, well, that'll have to wait to the end of the year. I've only got one pair of hands. Correct. And this speaks to a complete absence or failure in leadership, because strategically you say, you would, if you're managing a business, you'll say, what high impact quick wins can we secure? And that seemingly, based on what you've said, is a potentially a much quicker win than the taxation piece. So why wouldn't you allocate some resource to getting that up and running, so that it's kind of match fit for you to press the button and send the document over? It's just not credible to say, oh, we're too busy. What they can only do one thing at a time. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's a superb bit of PR, really, and it comes to racing.
It's fucking tremendous. The optic. I mean, sorry to labour the point, but can you imagine the headlines? British horse racing secures UNESCO World Heritage status. Now, what that means in practical terms kind of doesn't matter. That would be a fantastic PR win, wouldn't it? That would shut all the antis up. That would,
we've said.
Precise, but they don't seem to have that leadership. They're bureaucrats, aren't they, essentially?
If Greyhounds do that first, it kind of steals your thunder a bit, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
I'm not bothered about math. I want the BHA. I want racing people to get behind. I've said it before. Please, trainers, message your MPs with this idea. Message me if you need any more information on it. We've done all the groundwork. We've done all the list of buildings at racecourses that basically it doesn't matter if you sell them for houses, you ain't knocking down that building.
Correct.
We've done all the groundwork for you. All you've got to do is message your MP with the idea, and if she likes the idea, they can sign that off. You can get the UNESCO case ball rolling. It doesn't necessarily have to be the BHA, but the BHA, it's so much better coming from the BHA.
Absolutely.
Because they're a regulator and they can move on this.
Well, if it didn't come from the BHA, it wouldn't surprise me one jot if it was offered and turned down.
Well,
but it is bizarre, and
that's where I think with that, honestly.
It's like kind of dealing with local government, isn't it? It's that sort of that kind of mindset.
Well, I'm flabbergasted they could send an answer back to you after that meeting like that.
There's no vision. There's no vision at all.
Absolutely flabbergasted.
It is what it is. I can only deal with what.
Of course, you can only deal with it. But doesn't that strike you as just depressing? That after all that, which is a groundbreaking move, which would secure racing's future, in perpetuity, they sound a bit busy at the minute.
Lee, you have led the horse to the riverbank. He's up to his fetlocks in beautiful, fresh, clear drinking water, and he's took a shit.
Yeah. It's just depressing, isn't it? It's lamentable. I mean, really, it's just, listen, this is what you get when organisations are stuffed full of bureaucrats. That, you won't get a decision, you won't get vision, you won't get leadership. You'll just get people that will plod along doing little tasks that they've been assigned without taking any cognizance of the big picture. This is a big picture move. This is a really fucking Chad play. If they could grip this one, get the status, boom, everyone will fall in line. Wow, what a move. What a boss move that would be.
Yeah.
As I said, it unites racing together. There's nothing not to like about it. No. Anyone objecting to that needs, you shouldn't be in the sport, really. But it is what it is. Like you said, I've done what I've done. I managed to sit around the round table and get that document across to the right people. I'm afraid in these times, what we're dealing with is not necessarily that certain people want to get things done or help racing in the right way. So
whatever.
Right. New part of the show, chaps, this one. This is where we've decided to give the younger people a voice on our show. Given that most of our listeners are dinosaurs, we thought it'd be good for racing to showcase youngsters that actually work in racing. And we've got a good one here because I'm going to introduce Louis McIver now, who's just 16, nearly 17, though, I will say. He's approaching his 17th birthday. But he's found himself all of a sudden at the National Stud, Louis. How has that come about?
I've been in racing my whole entire life. I grew up in the industry. And from the minute go, I've been interested in horses, not just racing, on the breeding side as well.
Yeah.
And I found myself thinking to myself, if I was going to work in a racing yard, like being a race planner or stable staff or a work rider. But the thing I realised was I wanted to be on the breeding side, seeing the young horses' foals growing into 2-3-year-olds and older horses, potentially, if it's a filly, grow into a broodmare.
Any other youngster listening that wants to get into racing, how did this opportunity arise? How did you find yourself suddenly in Newmarket from your hometown of Northallerton?
It's a difficult one, really, because I have plenty of people that support me throughout the industry. And it's hard to determine what you want to be at such a young age in the industry because there's that many different positions.
How did you come into that support, Lou?
My family were my main support. My father, he's a feed merchant from North Yorkshire.
Right, so you're dealing with a lot of trainers in the north, yeah?
Yeah, I deal with a lot of trainers in the north, and it was kind of a route I wanted to go down, as in a rewarding route.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see a horse from being an hour old to it maybe winning a Group 1, if you like.
Obviously, when you're first coming into it, as we all know, everyone has to build the way up. What's your current roles there now? What have the National Stud actually got you involved with at the minute? And there might be some rubbish parts, but there might be some good parts. And I want to know both. Build a picture of what you do in a day.
So I'm currently on the National Stud Apprenticeship Scheme. So how it works is that I'm not based at the National Stud, I'm based on another stud in Newmarket, but it all goes through the National Stud.
Right, I get you, yeah.
I do a daily job, so my current title is a stud hand.
Yep.
Learning every trade that goes into being potentially a stud groom, running a stud, if you like. The National Stud take apart as in I'm on their course. At the end of it, I'll get a qualification and that can build up my CV and hopefully get the dream job I want. I go on lectures and I have lessons and learn about everything to your poisonous plants that can poison horses, how to worm foals, your foaling of the mares, everything around it, every key aspect of the job. But I learn that physically, as in straight in front of me and in the classroom as well, seeing it done on a video.
So what's the bit you really enjoy the most at the moment? What gives you the most satisfaction?
Seeing how foals change from being such a young age to they start getting older and the personality changes and they grow and
physically, like as they develop from foal to yearling, and
seeing them develop as in not just physically but mentally, seeing the personality come out.
Have you been invited to any other studs and stuff like that to see like really greats of the past? What horses have you seen, famous sires, etc.?
I've seen multiple stallions, Rajasingh and your Pinatubos and your Tudan Hots and Nathaniel.
Yeah.
You see so many different sires and you see all the sires have different personalities, even when they're covering, not just on a track.
Yeah. Have you seen a covering live?
Yes, I've seen a covering live, yeah.
No finer sight. Nature at its best when they do covers. Some stallions can actually be quite rough, can't they? With the old nipping of the mare, etc. And have you seen any rough antics?
Yes, you do see that, but most of the mares now, they wear a pad on the back.
Ah, right, yeah. Yeah.
So it protects the mare, if you like, because some mares might not like it.
It's nature at its finest, natural insemination. Yeah, definitely. I've seen videos. I'm childish, though. It makes me laugh. I'm sure to normal stud industry people, it's the normal thing. There's no fun in it, but I still laugh to this day when I see a covering video, shall we say. You're down there now. Do you mind me asking? It's like quite a personal question, but any budding young enthusiasts wanting to work in racing on an apprenticeship scheme, things like that, I take it you're paid?
Yeah.
What is that for a young person that's thinking, I'd like to get paid for my work?
How it works is how good you are at your job,
right,
if you like. It can vary. It's one of them things where it depends what they have you doing. If you're capable and you're trusted of what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah.
But a big factor of that is health and safety, because obviously I'm at such a young age where I can't do some things because of my age, which protects me, which sometimes you might think to yourself, oh, well, why can't I do that? But then you look back at it and go, oh, well, I couldn't have done that because of blah, blah, blah.
The other thing I was going to ask you, because you're sort of a older head on young shoulders just speaking to you now. You're obviously quite mature for your age in the way you're coming across to us. How has going down there affected you in terms of away from your family? Because you've told John before that pretty much a lone wolf down there at the moment. How does that suit you?
It's hard being away from your family, being so many miles away. But the support I have from the workplace, it's unbelievable. Yeah. They're checking in on me every day, asking me if I need anything. They can't be any more helpful.
So you'd say you're like pretty happy in what you're doing. You're happy in your job.
I wouldn't say I'm happy. I'd say I love it.
Right, wow. This is a glowing report for getting into racing. So many jobs out there. You've got your jockeys, you can do your apprenticeship jockeys. There's so many things you can do. I find it inspiring as well because, like, the fact is, you've just gone and done it. And I think it's a rather brave thing to do for a young lad. As I said, I think you've got all that on younger shoulders. Do you think this could lead to something good, like later in your life? Your ambition then is stud manager, am I correct?
Hopefully, it will lead to a stud groom and possibly going abroad. This is a good thing about the industry. You can go anywhere around the world.
That's it. You've got scope. You see it with jockeys. You see it with really experienced stable hands, if you like, or them that come to assistant trainers. I've seen them on Instagram. They've gone to Australia. They're living the dream. They've gone to Dubai. They've gone to America to work. And so the world's your oyster, really. So racing can offer that. You said you're interested in the bloodstock side.
Yeah.
For our listeners so far, because obviously you've first-hand experience down there in terms of you've seen certain sires, etc., etc. Any sires that take your eye, or future sires maybe? Anything that you think this is the sire that's going to do really well over the coming years?
If we were looking at sires that have had runners on a price-wise, if you like, I'd say Raja Singh stands at the National Stud.
Yep.
He produces winners. He's at a cheap price. You want a stallion that'll chuck you winners.
By the way, Raja Singh, incredible all-weather stats. Just to fill you in, Louis, you're nearly twice as likely to win with a Raja Singh on an artificial surface as you are on turf. They absolutely love the all-weather, do the Rajas. Informative stuff, this. Louis come up with a sire. I've added to it by saying what they do really well on. So there you go, a cheap sire that thrives. I think he's something like 18 or 19% on the all-weather, Raja Singh. So it's stupid. It's really good. Really, really good. Any others, Louis? One of mine I wanted to talk to you about. Gayath, I think, he's producing some really good types.
Yeah, he throws nice stock. He stamps them very well. They're very correct.
Gayath, when he was racing, he was like quite sizable in terms of he was a big horse. Most of his progeny so far, in its early stages, like quick ground, but you'd expect that. You'd expect them to like nice, fast ground. I think he's one to be excited about. Is there anyone you look up to down there, like for advice? You've already mentioned your support network. Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to big up and say they've really given you a helping hand so far in what you're doing?
It wouldn't just be down here. There's plenty of people down here that have helped me along the line, like a young up-and-coming trainer, James Horton.
Yeah.
He's very supportive. If I need any advice, I can give him a ring, and he's there.
That's so nice, isn't it?
It's lovely.
If a trainer will help a young lad out like that, I think it's good on any level. I think that's really nice. Nice to hear.
I've had plenty of trainers help me for advice, and another one's Steve and Julie Camacho. They've helped me so much. At such a young age, Steve and Julie took me on, and I did a week's work experience with them. I learned more in a day than I would just watching racing, watching videos online. Seeing it firsthand in a yard is different to what everyone sees on social media.
Steve Brown's a great guy. You see him on the gallops there at Moulton back in the day when I did own horses. When Shaquille were doing all that winning, there was nothing finer than success for them because they so deserve it. They work hard and they're very, very skilled at what they do, like you say. Right, I think that ends the segment. This has been a fabulous interview in terms of getting a grasp on a young person's journey already in racing, proving that there are careers out there that can be very fruitful. And Louis is on the learning path, and we wish him well going forwards. And this is a series we'll come back to. Any young people you know that deserves to be on the Bar Steward sermon promoting racing, I think it's time that we also talk good about racing as well as slagging it off and moaning for most of the show. After that decent interview, Lewis has been on here, and this is what I like, and I can feel the passion in some of the young audience here.
You sound like Milton Harris there, don't you? Like fucking, we want young people in racing to DM you. The fuck?
DMs, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking.
No, I'm just going to come on to a few of his points. He's gone about the fixture list, which we know that the BHA have no control over that. But again, his ideas, I like this, the fact that he's got in touch with me to say, likes the podcast, this and the other, and he's heard our views on stuff. And this is from a young person's perspective. Some of the stuff you might think, well, how are you going to do that? But it just is the way it is. But I just like his frustrations. One of his frustrations is stop trainers taking the easy option. It's really a national criticism regarding the best horses outside of the big festivals dodging each other all winter to just face each other on the big day at Cheltenham. When we're just watching Saturday racing, Henderson turning up at 5s on to win a Grade 2 Ascot hurdle. And he suggests this. He says, we've done this like jockeys sort of trainers championship. But he says, what about for horses? So to incentivise trainers to run their horses, run a point system throughout a year, John, where you get wins for winning certain races and big bonuses for the actual horse owners. Take these options up. Do you get it?
I don't know. There's a hell of a lot of prize money just gets turned down, isn't there? Anyway,
there is, yeah.
You just walk past these races. There's good money on offer. I don't think it's the money. I generally think there's just this malaise that prevails in national racing now, that it's all about Cheltenham and fuck everything else.
When we were a lad, it was never like that. We used to walk outside toilet, have a dump, go back in house, stick it on telly, the ITV.
Watch one of Neville Crump's win under 12-7.
Yeah. See Peter Easterby, R.I.P. Peter Easterby, by the way, a legend of the sport. Night Nurse winning back-to-back champion.
Exemplar trainer in the north. Exemplar.
Is he the best Easterby?
No question.
Yeah.
So he beats Happy Tim and Dirty Mick.
Yes. He would be the best by a long shot, I think. I think it was absolutely different gravy.
Did laugh at that Niall Hannity piece on him on Racing TV where he said he goes for lunch to meet Mick once a week, like in his latter years. So Niall Hannity said, who pays? And I reckon that's your question, who pays? Because you'd have been expecting to say, like, I bet Peter pays. And he says, no, we toss a coin for it.
Yeah.
Then you'd have come back with, I bet it's fucking double-sided.
Yeah, double-header.
He makes some good points on that. Nextly, he's got more ideas. Cap on ticket prices. There should be definitely cap on ticket prices. You see Doncaster today charging 24 quid. You see Sandown charging 35 quid. Other tracks are charging 15 quid. And in some cases, Nottingham 9 quid.
As long as there's a cheap option, I don't think there's anything wrong with them charging what they can get away with at the top end.
Right. So you think that helped at the top end. But then, like, you look at a deserted Sandown on Friday on a nice day.
What I mean is, if you're going to charge 70 quid and 3/4 fill it, that's probably all right. But 70 quid and a quarter full is probably shit. You might as well go to 30.
Yeah.
And fill it.
Yeah.
It's in the course's interest to maximise profits on the gate.
He also says promote the gambling side of the sport. And obviously we've been big perpetrators. It's an obvious thing. Betting and racing go side by side. Chris, you'll even say yourself, how many half sort of interested in racing punters will bother to watch a race if they had a bet on it?
Yeah, very few. I think ultimately betting is what gets most people not into the sport necessarily, but become long-term patrons of the sport. And I think, it is seductively easy to get kind of misled by the idea that, oh, well, if people come for a day out, then suddenly they'll be turned on to betting and they'll become lifelong supporters. They won't. The thing that hooks people in is having a bet. And that's the hard, cold reality of it. And they're doing everything they can to promote everything else in racing other than betting. And it does seem, rather odd to me, but what do we know?
We're doing our best, Chris. As far as I know, we're the only podcast that says when the fun stops, have more on.
Yes, absolutely. You're one bit away from having it spark off. Keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Obviously, even the AK Bets podcast can't say that.
No,
obviously, AK Bets is a licensed bookmaker. So, of course, he can't say have more on.
Responsibly, yeah.
Bet safely. Put deposit limits on.
Yeah, fuck that, yeah. Pull the machine off the wall, yeah. Fucking when it all goes wrong.
400 to win one in Wimbledon final.
Yeah,
Mr. Rattilova. Go on. Police the bookmakers, he says. Oh, this is Lewis's final point. This is the main thing, and I agree with this totally, but it's bridges at the moment. We have to even fight stupid affordability checks and taxation before we can get to a minimum liability, which is what Lewis is advocating for. I agree totally, Lewis. It'd be same as Tesco saying, I will sell you strawberries at £1.20, but you cunt, because you come in and fucking make YouTube videos and make fortunes out of YouTube videos off our strawberries. I'm charging you £4 upon it. It's bullshit. At the end of the day, you're a bookmaker, so you make your book online, and if you've took plenty for it, I've got no problem with a bookmaker having no offers. Remember in the old days, John?
Yes.
Where they went no offers?
No offers. Yeah.
Right, in other words, if they smell a rat, or it's like a fucking Charles Burns.
I don't know about police or bookmaker. Sting and Stuart Copeland know fuck all about betting anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, quite bubble.
I love that.
You don't have to wear that dress tonight. Yeah, quite right. Yeah.
That ghosted across me like an invisible sun.
Yeah. Copeland's dad wasn't he director of the CIA? Miles Copeland. Yeah. Stuart Copeland's dad. I think he was either deputy director or director of the CIA. Yeah, I'll bet trivia for you.
You love all this shit. You've taught me about DB Cooper.
Yeah, DB Cooper. They reckon they've got him now, don't they? That they reckon it's
really.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. And again, it's all gone quiet. But the Richard Floyd McCoy, who was one of the main suspects for it, he had a lock-up garage. The mother, the wife of McCoy died earlier this year, and the sons cleared out the garage, and they found a fucking parachute, which is an absolute ringer for the parachute that DB Cooper was given on the plane. So the FBI have actually taken it seriously. It's not the sort of usual crank stuff, and they've taken it away for DNA testing, which can take months and months and months, can take even years because it's not a priority. But they've been interviewed, and they said, "Well, look, hang on a minute. Why didn't you admit after your dad had died that basically, that you knew he was DB Cooper?" Because they say he admitted to it. But they said to protect the mother, because she was quite elderly and quite infirm. She didn't want like fucking YouTubers and press banging on the door every day. So they kept stum until she passed away. But they're pretty confident that he's your man. So we'll see.
Wow, good stuff. What a story. Right, coming on to some more questions. Henry's been on. He said, in America, they're introducing a 50-cent slip tax. Could it work here? Again, on this show, we're light years ahead of everybody else. We have said that punters have to pay the way also. We slag Big Corp off, we make sure that they should be doing what they should be doing, but punters have to pay the way towards the pot here. We're betting on it. We're having fun out of it. We've got to pay the price. We have to pay something, which our idea was, of course, 1% on winning bets, but online only, to still encourage people to come racing for the no 1% tax on bets. At the end of the day, if you can sit on your arse with your laptop on a Saturday afternoon, having gin and pay or your pints of fucking Guinness, whatever you're doing, and you can't pay 1% on your winnings for having the privilege and the easy way of doing things on your phone or on your laptop, then I'm sorry, we have to pay a price. That's how it is. We have to fund the sport. And so it ain't just down a Big Corp, it's down to us all. And I don't care if you don't agree. You should agree, because you won't be saying that in a few years if things carry on the way they are. Steve Buster's been on. King Charles has just announced his birthday honours list. But it turns out there has been an oversight. One of the bar stewards is to be knighted for their work in calling out the racing industry. Would you all accept? And if so, who becomes a sir?
Oh, fuck yes. What do I accept? Fucking, wouldn't that be great, wouldn't it?
No, it'd be fucking Dame Fry all day, wouldn't it?
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Lady Royalty. She loves Elvis.
What's that got to do with anything?
King might have something.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
A bit of Elvis going on there,
Bollocks. It's got to be me. I'm the only one who looked good, like fucking kneeling before the old king with a sword on it. I'm the only one who could get up afterwards. So.
As, by the way, they're dishing out MBEs willy-nilly, and we'll come on to Andrew Woodman's point, no longer a councillor. His dog lost him.
His dog flunked it, yeah.
Yeah. An idiot, he's called him. Coming on to MBEs, they've just given Luke Littler and Luke Humphreys MBE. Obviously, the younglings, they're giving them out to younglings. So I propose our Jack should be knighted for services to a man of leisure. What do you think?
That's fuck all, doesn't he? He doesn't do anything. I want to know how he gets it. He doesn't do anything. He does nothing.
He's been fucking off around Italian.
He's not Alan Wicker, isn't he? Fucking flying around. Oh, yes, I'm just having fucking Chianti in fucking St. Mark's Square and all that. Ungodly. How does he do it?
It's amazing the work that a superannuated trust function causes you to have to do, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Fucking this week, what's that? Pasta lessons and fucking
yeah.
17 Peronis a day, messaging us pissed, embarrassing
Fuck
himself.
me. Yeah, I know. What a life. Good luck with him, but fucking hell.
So answer Steve Mustard. Jack would be our nomination.
Well, it
He'd
wouldn't
be
be
a
mine.
perfect sir.
I'd nominate me. Fuck everyone else. I'm the fucking me.
But Jack's the only one that could probably mix in higher circles.
I could.
Like we'd be all,
No, I'm fucking a comedian.
Yeah,
drifting between various social strata, high life, low life. Honestly, yeah. No, I agree. I think he'd be very good. He looks the part, doesn't he?
And I'm glad he's back from his
Yes,
travels
absolutely.
to give you the best information and host the pods, of course, next week. I'll let Jack do all the tipping pods now. It's hosting to give him some good old hosting skills to his many talents.
Good.
Woodman, yeah, he says so. Basically, we're giving out awards willy-nilly for gambling prevention.
Ooh.
And he says, what honour is Andrew Rhodes likely to receive by the time he's finished?
OBE, one behind the ear. That's it.
They might make him king.
Emperor.
Fucking Mark Carney ran Bank of England and they made him fucking...
They did, yes.
Canadian president.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Canada, yeah.
If it can get everybody stop betting and just focusing on going to work and then going to bed after work
and dying quietly at your own expense, obviously, yeah.
with a just cremation funeral, so you don't spend all the money you're gonna make.
No, quite right.
I think we deserve the highest of accolades.
Agree.
Yes, I agree. King Rhodes for all services done to racing and gambling, of course. Done your job. Certainly have. Right, on to a few funnies now to finish the show. Oh, Rory's been on. I don't know this at all. He says, should we now be factoring World War III into our anti-purse betting? Recommended to me, BBC iPlayer Shifty. Just started watching. Excellent viewing. Okay. Not seen that. Have you two?
Nah. No, watch that. What's it about? Do we know?
World War III, probably.
He sounds like fucking World Apocalypse.
Ooh, no thanks. Fucking hell. Depressing enough, isn't it? Give us something to look forward to and at the end of the world. Doing anything nice. Yeah.
Like a few Greg's sausage rolls to finish a day or something. Ronnie Omelet's been on. He says, what's the oddest thing you found in your vacuum cleaner?
My dick.
Yeah.
Is that after the misread your text?
Well, no, not at all. No. I'm very well behaved, but you know that I think probably my cock in the vacuum cleaner. I think why not? Yeah. Not really, by the way. Fuck's sake.
No, I didn't think so. I mean, we have wasps.
Yeah, no. I draw the line at that. There was a thing. There's a sort of a meme going around, which is like basically it showcases the there's a new kind of a robot trade fair in China where they're making hyper realistic women robots, and it's got sort of a film of the chap sort of stroking the skin, the eyes, and all that, and then it sort of poses the question in the promotional film, you know, what uses can you think of this robot? And someone in the next phrase has put this robot, bend it over, while there's a man hammering away at the arse of it, because you know that's where robotics are going to go in the future, don't you, really? It's not going to be cooking dinners or hoovering up. It's just, you know.
I don't use vacuum cleaners, so I have absolutely no idea what's in there. There could be all sorts, like pubes and everything, really. You've no idea, have you? No, it could be anything. I have no idea. John, what's in yours?
I actually answered this on the thread. The vacuum cleaner is entirely the responsibility of my cleaner. I don't even know where it's kept.
You that cleaner.
He's got a cleaner, Doris.
Bit middle class, that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Bit middle.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Actually, you like this. Don't worry about that.
Well, no, I've never doubted that. I just, I'm just surprised, frankly.
Producer has got a question. If you could bring back one everyday insult, such as munter or dweeb, what would it be? And what was your favourite insult growing up?
Spasmo.
I was just going to say that, like spastic.
Yeah. You're fine.
And before anyone says, well, that's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah,
my PE teacher called me a fucking spastic.
Yeah.
He goes, get your fucking arse together, you spastic. You know?
You're right. And that was also in the air. If you remember, Blue Peter's adopted, what's the word? There's a chap there who had severe learning difficulty called Joey Deacon. Remember that? Joey Deacon? yeah, you fucking Joey. That was which was, and people used to sort of mimic the kind of the what's the word, the spasmodic hand movements in a very unkind way. Yeah, you fucking Joey. And he had a mate, I think it was not called Eric, but something like Eric. You go, you fucking Eric, you know. Ooh, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Honestly, youngsters today haven't lived, have they?
No,
Really?
they haven't.
It's like, it's a good grounding, really.
Yeah,
like,
Joey Deacon, yeah.
Before we come to the last question, who's your favourite TV show sidekick, says John? Chris, you must have had plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah, I have. I've thought about this. And obviously, you know, there's been some smashing suggestions, you know, like Hong Kong Fooey's sidekick and all that. But I'm going to give you Gabrielle, the blonde-haired sidekick of Xena
Xena, Princess, yeah.
You can imagine hanging out the back of her while she licks Xena out. Now, I can't get an image. Imagine that. That'd be fucking magic, wouldn't it? Rattling her bones. Yeah.
Goodness gracious, I weren't expecting that one.
No. Nor was Gabrielle, to be honest.
I can't quite a few, actually, I thought had been really good sidekicks over the years. I mean, there was Doberman in Phil Silvers, Sid James in Hancock.
Perfect.
Huggy Bear in Starsky and Hutch.
Huggy Bear, yeah.
George Carter in The Sweeney.
Oh, yes, he's a sidekick, wasn't he?
Tim Gutterson in Justice Yard. Tattoo in Fantasy Island.
Hervey, whatever his name was.
Hervey Velasquez. He's one you'll remember, and like me, you won't know his name, so just call him Mooseface in The Flashing Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
You never ever got to know his name, did you? But he was always there. The other gadget, you know?
Yeah.
Benny the Ball in Top Cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Benny Blue, he was
Muttley,
great,
who actually hated Dick Dastardly, but remained sidekick on the strength of getting the medal.
Yeah, it was always the medal, wasn't it? Yeah.
My own personal favourite, Jack, the conductor, and on the buses.
Oh, tremendous. Yeah, tremendous.
You know, you're an ass with a staff, aren't you?
Yeah, he was horrible, wasn't he? Yeah. Poor fucker killed himself in real life on his Rolls Royce up. Just
Black Johnny on Ironside. Who used to push the wheelchair, Black Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And Chewbacca in Star Wars. But,
yeah, Han Solo's,
What about this, right? This is the overall king of the sidekick.
Go on.
People. Doctor Who has had more sidekicks than we've had hot dinners.
Yeah.
The only one that should count should be Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane.
You liked her, did you?
Well, the rest of the lot, I think the whole situation with some old bloke in early 20th century clothing whisking a teenager away to time travel in his police hiding in plain sight. I think Doctor Who would have got a kick in every time he showed his many faces in the community.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, but it was a different time. It was where, you know.
Yeah, well, that might be his excuse, but, you know, we're not buying it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just time travel back to an era when it was acceptable. That's what he's got to do, isn't it?
Billy Piper was another, obviously.
Gone downhill too now, isn't it?
I would say my favourite sidekick is Penfold in Danger Mouse.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
I loved him. Absolutely loved him.
Was it Terry Scott did the voice for?
Jarvis was in well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Terry Scott.
David Jason. Yeah. I think Terry Scott did Penfold, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. Yeah, that was good. And what was it? Yeah, Baron Greenback, wasn't it? And Stiletto was the crow or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question, John. Yes. Sam the cat to finish this year. Random inexplicable incidents are funny. Recently, we took our Bonnie Grumpy neighbour to the beach, and a large dog came out of nowhere and ran into her leg, and she went up in the air. She was furious, but it was funny. Has the bar stewards ever witnessed any funny random incident?
No.
Again.
Chris,
no, mate, no.
Chris doesn't go anywhere.
I wouldn't realise it anyway.
I once got on the bus at Red Clock. There was somebody sat about halfway down, and he had a sheep sat next to him.
Really?
Really.
That's fucking nuts.
It was a half-hour bus ride, and I was busting to ask him what the fuck was going on, and I never had the bottle to actually say what the fuck are you doing, pal. But the sheep was on the seat, so I assume he'd even paid for a ticket.
Well, you don't know, do you? He might have been. Yeah.
You take dogs on, can't you, I suppose?
Yes, you can. Yeah, service dogs and guide dogs and so forth. Yeah.
But yeah, this was emotional support sheep, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
One of my funniest, for a proper belly laugh moment in terms of like an embarrassing situation, because they tend to be the funny for me anyway.
Yeah.
No, it didn't happen to me, but a friend of mine. We were in a pub and we had a few to drink. It were pool night. So when he gets drunk, he loses control of his sort of like body movements and everything. He's one of them, right? He's looking for his fags. And so he's fishing around in his pockets, like frantically for his fags. Pulls his pocket out and then drops all his contents on the floor. And out comes this massive bag of coke.
Oh.
It just goes all over the floor.
No.
And this is a fullish pub.
Fucking hell.
And I'm absolutely dying laughing. Never seen Oak so funny. He was still unaware, and all I could do were not help him or anything. I'm just there, just like laughing, because when has anyone ever seen this? Everyone's staring in shock, going, "Oh,
this massive bag of bugle, yeah."
Just gone bananas all over the floor." That was extremely funny. I'm just that's the type of character I am. Embarrassing moments, rather than feel embarrassed, I tend to laugh.
Well, I do. I mean, have you noticed when people start to sing? Let's say you're in church, or you have, or someone sings at an event. I find I get sort of secondhand embarrassment from them, so I start laughing. So I went to a funeral, and like they had at the front and a fella singing a hymn solo, and I started laughing because I was like cringing. I don't know. I think there's a psychological name for it, but I find that awful. People singing that in public, just trying to, in churches, in pubs and things. It's fucking awful.
I think that's it. It's a reaction, isn't it? Some people can't bear it, turn away, go in shock, and I'm the other way. I just
it's not laughing,
like belly laughing and stuff. And the other one for me personally, this is worth mentioning, given how my size. So we went round to my father-in-law's probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I was tipping the scales at definitely in the 20s. Let's say he got this deck chair he'd had for like 15 years. It was his pride and joy. You know what I mean? His favourite deck chair, all this shit. Gave it me. I sat in it, and then we had about 5 minutes. It just went kaput, like with me in it.
It went pop.
All broke. The wood just snapped.
Good Lord.
That would have made a good video. But
how did he respond? Was he
distraught? I could tell in his face he wanted to like really fucking bollock me and stuff, and
it's really awkward.
He's like really enraged by it, but he didn't. He held back. If it had been like a true family member, as in not a married by into the family, I think he'd have gone berserk at him. But so I bought him 2 brand new ones at Christmas. Real good ones and all that.
Yeah, good ones, no rubbish. Yeah, reinforced,
proper stuff. Just in case now and again, really.
Yeah. One for each arse cheek.
Right. Hope you all enjoyed that. It's been really fun to do as always. And I've loved some of your comments this week when you've said about your mental health and stuff, and how this show helps that in terms of we have a lot of fun as well as talking racing and industry topics. So we'll keep that up, and don't forget to join us and support us via Patreon, because your support is important, because it keeps us independent from taking big dollar off big corp, gravy train. None of that. We like to keep independent, so please support us. That's all from me, John and Chris. Bye for now.